Hi everyone, today is Friday, November 23rd, and it's 10:09. We're getting started a few minutes late just to get everyone on board who wanted to join today. So I hope you all had a great day off. If you worked yesterday, thank you for working. I know a lot of you are off today too, so that's great. I hope you're out there finding good Black Friday deals and shopping and hanging out with your family and refreshing yourselves. And I have a few things to update you with today. I hope this meeting will be a little short. I have one submitted question from an interpreter, and then we have two people on the line if they want to ask any questions, and then I will get this posted. So just an update about our hiring. We are doing really good. We are this group that's coming on November 30th, next Friday, will be our largest group yet. We have 7 people all starting on the same day, and this will bring us up to our requirement of 18 FTE for our program. And this is kind of what our big push has been for, because we were a little short-staffed, and then also we had the increase and then some attrition. And then our next big sort of jump will be to 24 FTE in January. And so after that, we have another 3 people starting on the 14th of December. We have 2 on February 21st, no one on the 28th, 2 people on January 4th. So we're kind of keeping the ball rolling. We probably have about 10 or 11 more people to get onboarded around the end of the year to help us meet our growth goals. And so we are in really good shape going into the first of the year. So, and I've been reviewing kind of like with Tracy Smith, like, you know, how much more work we need and everything. So we are actually going to suspend our part and full-time position on our website and leave the per diem open. And so for the rest of the first quarter, probably for 2 months or so, we're just going to be hiring per diems on a rolling basis. So for those of you who have been encouraging your colleagues and your friends to apply, thank you so much. Continue doing that. And just if you want to let them know that, you know, we are kind of maxed out on part and full time, but they'll open up again in a few months, and that they can get their foot in the door being per diem right now. So still have them apply. We still want to be hiring regularly every single month, at least 5 or 6 people per diem, and then we can look at part and full time later as we need. We know that we're going to have another 200-hour bump in the second quarter. So we will have opportunities internally for people to go up to full or part-time that want to. And then if we don't have enough interest there, we will go ahead and open up the part and full-time position again for applicants out of the company. I'm really happy with this round of hires. They've been great, and thank you guys so much for referring awesome interpreters like yourselves. We are, I am going on vacation next Thursday. I'll be in Thailand from Thursday the 29th to December 15th. And Tracy Smith, Natasha Moore, and Elizabeth Butcher, the 2 trainers, and then HR, they're going to be taking over the interviewing process, and we're going to be going nonstop while I'm gone. So still have people apply. There will be staff here to take new applicants and put them through the interviewing process. I would just suggest that going forward, when you have people reach out, if you want to have them reach out directly by applying, so send your referrals right to the website to apply, because once they do that, they get reached out to by HR, and then they can ask some preliminary questions there if they want. For me, I get a lot of referrals from you guys or from others, and they go right to my ewallace@interpretech email. And so I have to reply to them, basically redirecting them back to the website. So if you just want to, you know, skip that step, that would be helpful for me too while I'm out of town. And I'm going to put that in my away message as well. So send them right to the website. So that's hiring. And then my next update, I want to talk to you about the schedule, how the scheduling is going, because this is our first time doing the sort of like quarterly scheduling, and we've learned a few improvements that we can make. So nothing is really perfect right out of the box or right out from the jump. And so the same thing with this, we are going to tweak how we're doing it, because we basically had like 20 out of 28 people all request the same shifts. So that was challenging, but you guys have been great making adjustments. But it has been a little bit more time consuming than I had wanted, or that is ideal, having to go back individually and tweak schedules. So the next hiring, or the next scheduling round, which will be before April, so like March 1st, we'll start building out the next quarter schedule. We're going to do two things differently that I think will improve upon some of the challenges we had this time. So the first thing we'll do is show you guys what we're trying to schedule. On this go round, we just released the document and it said, preferred schedule 1, preferred schedule 2, or alternate preferred, something like that. And so really what we've been seeing is like people's ideal schedules, and that is not correct. That's like not the right way to communicate that. So we basically asked what your preference was, and I think that, without knowing what we're trying to schedule, you're basically giving us the preference of what you would like, all things being equal. The reality is that I need to know what your preference is out of what we have available. Like from the request from the client, what do you prefer out of that? So I'm going to show that to you next time so you can see, and just so you understand conceptually like how our request comes in. It would be great if they were like, please fill 500 hours, and then we could fill any 500 hours we want. Instead, it comes in like slots, time slots. And so our scheduling request sort of looks like every day, it looks like the shape of the capital letter D. So we run 2 to 3 slots, 24 hours. So it's real thin. We only have a few slots really early morning and really late at night. And then as the day progresses, it kind of like fills out and it ends up making this like kind of D shape. So towards the peak hours of the day, we can run like 7 to 9 consecutive seats. But then again, as we get back like towards the evenings and late nights, it reduces significantly, 4 or 5 seats, 3 seats, 2 seats. So that's something to keep in mind when you will see the schedule next time when you're thinking about it. I really want to know what is your preferred schedule out of what's available to schedule. So that I think will help us next time. And then also, we had 2 sections. We had preferred schedule, alternate schedule. Almost nobody put in alternate schedules, so that's really difficult too. And so what we're going to change it to next time is preferred schedule, and then the second will say max capacity or max availability, because that is what really helps us. The scheduling is a dialogue, and we need to kind of know and talk about, and this document will be your way to communicate to us like what you have available, and out of what that is available for you to work, like what do you prefer to work, what's most convenient for you. And then in the notes section, also nobody really gave us any notes. The notes would be kind of where to talk to us about like what your schedules look like. So just for example, like if you're putting down max availability, it should be very generic. It should be something like Monday, Thursday, Saturdays after 4, or if you're available to work overnights, you might put in 5 overnights a week, and then in the notes say willing to work 2 overnights a week, 1 of them must be on a weekend, or willing to work 1 overnight a week, or something like that. Or if you put in something like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then your per diem or your part-time, and then in the notes you'd say would like to be scheduled for 18 hours a week. So you're giving us your max capacity, which could be like 70 or 80 hours. And then in the note, you're telling us like out of the max capacity, what are you really hoping to achieve? I mean, the preferred schedules came in so narrow that they were like literally no wiggle room. And so that's why we had to go back and dialogue. I want to cut down on that so it will go faster next time. So think about putting your preferred schedule on the top, but then in the second column after this, really communicating what your weekly schedule availability is, max availability, and then in the notes, how you like to design your week. So, weekends or, available every day, but have a hard stop at 3, have to get my kids on the bus at 7, willing to work a weekend here or there, but, early mornings, something like that. And that will kind of help us schedule you within some parameters without having to go back and forth too much. So look for that in the next quarter, but the schedules are set, and we're moving into December with people have a lot of vacations coming up, and we're looking for our per diems to sort of pick that up, and the new people coming on will be picking up from the open hours, and so we're in good shape, and I'm really happy with the way we're kind of filling out the schedule now. So thank you guys for getting all your scheduling requests in, and let me know what else you might like to see on this scheduling request form for the next quarter, and we'll start planning about that in like March. Just probably the last week of February, first week of March, we'll release it again to give you guys plenty of time. Okay, so that's a schedule. Then I wanted to tell you guys, we started looking at breaks, how people are breaking. We are able to kind of see like how frequently breaks are in comparison with the call volume and stuff. And so what we're kind of noticing is that people are taking the same amount of breaks all the time. And so really our concept for breaking was sort of this organic break, take breaks when you need them. So what I really was thinking is people would take more breaks when it was busier and less breaks when it is not busy. And instead what we're seeing is like people just taking breaks all the time on a schedule that it kind of looks, I think a lot of people work for like VRS, and so they're just kind of in the habit of breaking a strict 10 minutes out of every hour or a strict 20 minutes out of every 2 hours. But then when we look at the actual amount of calls, we'll see that they only had like 2 calls or 3 calls in 2 hours. So really that's not efficient for us because we're not able to reimburse for those. And the breaks in between, if there's downtime in between calls, that you can use those times to like stand up, refresh yourself. You can take like a 5-minute and run to the bathroom and grab a cup of coffee or whatever. So just start thinking about your breaks in this sense of taking them as you need them, but more or frequently when it's busy and you need them for, to refresh yourself and to take care of your body, and then working longer or less breaks or shorter breaks when it's not as heavy call volume, when we're still only running at like a 50% capacity off peak. So that's very manageable. I mean, if you think about, sometimes I'm sure everyone's done educational interpreting, and you'll work 9 to 3 or 7 to 2, and you have like a lunch and maybe a study hall or some light interpreting here or there, but you're pretty much still working, a couple classes back to back, or even a college class. You might interpret a 90-minute college class alone or solo and have like a 10-minute break between classes. So don't get too hung up on I have to take a break 10 minutes out of every hour, or I have to break this way. Language Line, the way they do their breaking with their staff, they give them a half an hour unpaid lunch, and then they will give them 2 15-minute breaks, one at around 10 and one around 3 or 4. And I feel like that's too rigid, because I want our breaking system to actually be practical and be sort of a tool for you to manage call volume so that you're staying healthy and staying refreshed and not getting burnout or fatigued. So with that comes this kind of like understanding of like, if it's slow and you can work 2 hours and take 3 calls, or if you can work 90 minutes and then take a break, do it. And then when you're working peak hours and it seems like the call volume is heavier, take more breaks then. All right, so think about that. That also goes into like the unavailable unavailable refused call status. Since we talked about it and have that conversation, I think I sent out an email like a few weeks ago. Significant improvement. So basically everyone has been making an effort to be attentive to their equipment and not letting it run into that like 12-minute unavailable where you get booted out. I appreciate that so much. It has made a really big difference, just kind of watching your systems and staying on top of that. It's cut down on that a lot. We still see just a few, so just a reminder, if you hit the 12-minute mark and you get booted out, you need to make up that time, or take it off your timesheet, or use that as your break and then keep working. So basically, we can't pay for breaks and an extra 12 minutes every couple times that happens. I mean, sometimes it could happen 2 or 3 times in a week, and that's like a half an hour of lost time, plus your breaks, plus whatever. So we have seen an overall reduction of that. But for those little 1s and 2s where it happens, make sure that you are making up those 12 minutes or take them off your timesheet. So that's breaks. And then that's kind of all I had for this week. We have just a few pieces of information about what some of the programs we have coming up in the next year. So I told you last meeting that we're trying to look for a in-house licensing specialist, because it's hard to keep on top of all of that. And so I met with Tracy Smith, Tona Baldwin, and Michelle Yaddo. And Michelle and Tona have a really good background with working in other fields, doing really detail-oriented administrative work. And so they volunteered to be our in-house licensing specialist. So they are working on a project to sort of catalog, inventory, and organize all of the state licensing documents, contact information, procedures, like notables and things like that, and sort of collect that information and create a format of where it would be housed that's easily accessible. And we're hoping to use our SharePoint. That's where I load these videos. We would like to have a licensing SharePoint account, so anyone can go there and get the most up-to-date information about your renewals. And then also these ladies will be the ones I would look to hand off new employees that have to start licensing and have questions about that. And then they would also keep us abreast on any new changes in licensing renewals, and if we had to provide some training for you or some CEU opportunities in a specific topic to meet the requirement, we would be able to keep ahead of that in-house. So that is that's coming in January, so that'll be good. And then I think that's it. We are moving to, one more thing. We are moving to a new database called Interpreter Intelligence sometime in 2019, I think the second quarter. And there will be some really nice features on there that we'll be able to use for our work, breaking down shifts, picking up shifts, accessing your schedule, like having a calendar snapshot, all that stuff. So that'll be really nice. In the meantime, though, because we are kind of getting to this critical mass in our group, we still need something sooner rather than later. So we might be using something in January called Deputy, and it will allow us to get our shifts dropped, added. You'll be able to pick up shifts on the weekends easier. You can look at your schedules, and there's just certain features. And the best thing about it is that it has an app. This is what is really great. So you'll be able to do all that from your phone. And so look for that, and there will be some training once we get that. But that will be probably just a temporary fix to get us to whenever we have our new software or our new scheduling program launching. So that'll be good. I'll keep you guys updated as to how that progresses and when that gets launched. And then I think that's it. My question for this meeting was, will Interpretech ever release specific vacation time in addition to PTO? And I talked with Human Resources about that to get the answer. The answer is no. Your PTO is accrued and can be used however you want. So your PTO is sick leave or it is vacation time. It's yours to use as you want it. We're not going to have a extra category of paid time off and call it vacation time. So it's just paid time off, and you'll be able to accrue it. And as you continue working here, your accrual rates, like how much you accrue, increases as you hit 5-year marks. So if you look in the new handbook that came out last week on, I think it came out Thursday or Friday, if you look at that and you go to the benefits section, there is a paid time off chart that shows how much you accrue per year of employment. And so that's where you would be able to find that information. I hope everyone's read their handbook. Nothing dramatic, like new policies in there. It's just basically like kind of what we do and what we know now in writing, which is nice. And then also there's a nice section in the front about kind of like our mission, core values, and our approach to running our business. And so these are nice things too. Like you should familiarize with yourself with that, so you really can, if you ever go out and try to tell your friends to come and work at Interprotech, or like if you had to make a case for why Interprotech was a good place to work, there's like really nice language in the front of the handbook that talks about like what our approach is to being an interpreting agency and kind of what we believe in and promote. So, but that's it for this meeting. I don't have anything else, and I just open it up now to anyone who joined the call. If you have any questions now, you could go ahead and ask. No?
Hi, Emily. It's Monique. So that new handbook, would it have been included in the new hire training? Was it, or was it released after that? And then I'm still not familiar with where I would find updates like that.
Okay, great. So that's a good question. Your handbook is housed in Paychex, but we found this out. You can't access it or read it from the app. You actually have to go to a PC or Mac on your computer, go to your Paychex account there, and you will see a little link on your dashboard that says handbook. And so you'll be able to, that's where it'll be housed permanently. So you can actually download it from there, or you can just go there and read it. But everyone was supposed to go to the Paychex login, and the first time you go in and open the handbook, there is a little sort of attestation or something where you click that you've read it, and they collect those. So those should have been done sometime within like this week. And but that's where you can find it. It's in the Paychex dashboard, and it's there was an email also on Friday when it was released, and the email from HR said where you could find it. We just happened to find out through trial and error that it's not loaded into the mobile apps. You do have to access it from a computer.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, I will see you guys on the next meeting. Actually, wait, let me rephrase that. The next meeting will be in December, and I'll be in Thailand then, so that means Giovanna will host the next meeting on Thursday, the 6th. Thursday, December 6th. So we'll be back on our regular schedule for then. And so again, between now and then, submit any questions that you may have that come up, or any topics you want addressed, or if you want to share anything during the meeting, you can. And if not, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you, Emily.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a great trip.
Thanks.
Yes, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good trip. Bye.